Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today we want to look a little at how a website layout is set up and go back to the basics to check out some pure HTML and the corresponding CSS styling. This should give you only a rough understanding on what you are doing while creating your website and to better follow along this series. And with that, let's dive right in. Over here, I created a small example on how a website is often divided into various areas and elements to create a clear structure. When constructing a website, it's crucial to consider the layout carefully, ensuring that it effectively communicates your brand's identity and engages visitors. In this series, we will mostly skip this part because I would like to focus more on the technical side, so you can easily and quickly understand how you yourself can create a website. The whole design part will be reserved to a different series. The possibilities for customizing these areas are endless, so we will focus on one of the most used layouts, which contains a header, body, and footer, and leave out the sidebars, interactive elements, and other advanced features for now. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. The header for me is the heart of a website and sets the tone for the entire site. It provides a central place for navigation, showcases your brand's logo, and sometimes might even include a call to action button. Moving down, there is the body, which serves as the canvas for your content. This is where you can create the individual designs for each page. You have the freedom to arrange text, images, and other media elements in a visual, appealing, and individual manner. Whether it's presenting product information, sharing blog posts, or telling your brand's story, the body allows you to captivate your audience and deliver your message effectively. And while the header and body capture attention and convey information, the footer holds essential details that complete the user experience. Here, you can place your branding, provide links to important pages, such as the privacy policy and terms of service, define the ownership, and include a copyright notice. It's often the last thing visitors see, but its importance should not be underestimated. Like in the EU, where the privacy policy and terms of service throughout every page of your website is not just recommended, but necessary. But more details on the website layout in a future part of this series. And with that, let's look a little into HTML. And to check that out in a little more detail, we will go to one of my favorite sites, w3schools.com. They offer a lot of how-tos for many different languages, including HTML over here. If you are unfamiliar with HTML code, I can warmly recommend you to go through their tutorial series over here. It doesn't take too much time and gives easy examples on the HTML basics. First, let's check out their introduction over here. So, what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is the standard markup language used to create and structure content on websites. And over here, we can see a small code example. Let's just try it out in the editor. As we can see here, the left-hand side represents the HTML code, and the right-hand side shows what the code would generate. When we change a little over here, we can simply click the Run button to run the HTML code and see the results on the right-hand side. If you're not familiar with coding languages, HTML has elements. The HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. And these are defined by the use of angle brackets, like here. And the end tag typically includes a /, such as here. In this case, the whole marked area here is the header 1 element. The same goes for the paragraph element below. Additionally, we structure the code by indenting it, and we do this by using the tab key. I will do this quickly so we can see how the code will look when structured. So let's go over this really fast. The doctype HTML declaration defines our document as an HTML document. The HTML tag opens our HTML code, including that everything inside it is HTML code. The next section is the head, which contains metadata information such as the title of the page. The title will usually be displayed in your browser tab up here. The thing that we want to focus on is the body. The body contains the main content of an HTML document, including text, images, links, and other HTML elements. As we can see, the content in here will be actually displayed. But didn't I show you an example with a header, body, and footer? Well, you're right. We have to put these into the body. Here's a small example. As we can see, I have a header element, a main element, and a footer element. In each of these, I placed a h1 element, and on the right side, we can see now the output of these. So now you should have noticed two things that happened. The first one is that, as you can see here, we are going further into the tree with each element that we create. This is important to understand. We can somewhat group these elements to give structure to our code. And the second thing is that we can create certain areas to separate or group our code. This will play a big role when we later talk about templates and layouts. But more on that in a later tutorial. Now let's also delve a little into CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and as the name implies, it provides us with styling options for our HTML code. Additionally, it grants us more granular control over laying out our HTML code into various formats, structures, and effects. We can apply CSS code in different ways, but for the purpose of this series, we will focus on inline CSS. In this example, we have HTML elements similar to before, with inline CSS code to declare our style attribute. For each HTML header element, we are declaring a single CSS style, which sets the background color. Each of these CSS style declarations contains a property and a value. In our case, the property is background color and the value is the color name. We can modify the code by applying a different color or adding more CSS styles. In this case, we are changing the background color to red and applying text transformation to uppercase. This adjustment should alter the color slightly and capitalize each letter of the word tomato. As we can see, that is working fine. We can also apply styles to entire HTML element groups, which then inherit the style to their children. Important to note is that the last applied style takes priority, and that is the last element in the tree, as we can see here with the text transform of lowercase. Another excellent example is provided in their CSS introduction, where we can observe the effects of applying different styles. For instance, there's an example with no CSS styling. If we navigate through the menu points, we can see different styles applied. And if you're further interested in CSS, check out these tutorials over here. But we will still see all this in action later in this series. And that's it for today. We've explored the fundamental elements that make up a website, like the header, body, and footer, gained a glimpse into the structure of HTML and the styling of CSS. If you noticed any mistakes, have suggestions for improvement, or ideas for future topics, please leave them in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful in any way, a like and a subscription would mean a lot to me. It gives me feedback that I'm on the right track and motivates me to create even more content. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.